The only person that is going to help Jonathan and Benny now that Clara and Hanks are not around is Kenneth. He is the only one that can take legal action towards getting back that house. I mean, how can Jonathan, who does not even have money to feed himself, be able to afford a lawyer? But then there is something that is shocking. How is Cheta able to sell that house without the original signatory of the owner of that house? Because as far as I remember, that house is in Benny's name. So does it mean that somebody can actually stumble on another person's house document and sell the house claiming that it's theirs? Because right now, I don't understand. I'm confused. But then, Jonathan deserves everything that is happening to him right now. Because there is no how Jonathan will explain to anybody that he did not see the red flag in what Emeka was doing. But he chose to ignore it. And then he sent the only woman that has loved him for him, regardless of the fact that Jonathan has been a useless man from the beginning. He drove the wife out and now he has lost everything. Now, Jonathan is calling on God to come and help him. When he was swimming in money, he never remembered God. He felt like, oh, he's the big Joe. He's the big Joe. He's on top of the world. Now he's back to square one. Cheta has lost her life for no reason. When you belong to a group of evil people, it is not easy for you to scam them. This is out of greed, because if Cheta had actually shared the money between herself, Emeka, and Debbie, this wouldn't have happened. But then, what has Debbie done this time around? I feel that there is more to what happened between Debbie and Cheta. Because right now, Debbie has just killed Cheta without even collecting the money in question. So right now, I am confused. What is the purpose of even killing Cheta when you cannot even get the money from her? You would have actually held Cheta to provide that money. Anyway, that is what karma does. They said many days for the thief, one day for the owner. Now, Emeka and Debbie's secret has been revealed. Jonathan is fully disappointed. Now he's blaming himself for trusting Emeka. You shouldn't blame yourself because you have actually failed. Everybody around you showed you. They openly told you things about Emeka. Instead of you to make your findings, you decided to put deaf ears to everything that every other person was saying. And now you are crying. Right now, I only feel sorry for Benny, who the mother has actually planned her future so that she will not go through all of these things. Jonathan spoiled everything. And now she's sleeping in an uncompleted building with all the mosquito bites and not even having food to eat. But seriously, what Jonathan did to Emeka does not warrant Emeka doing these evil things to Jonathan. I mean, if you ask your friend for money to pay your own mother's medical bills and he refused to give you the money, if Jonathan did not treat you well as a friend, the only thing you can do for yourself is to cut ties with him. You must not be friends to Jonathan. But you decided to go this extra miles to destroying Jonathan and bringing him from the big Joe that he is down to nothing. And now you are blaming it on him that he refused to give you money for your mother's medical bills, yet he gave you 3 million naira for your mother's burial. Are you serious right now? What happens to you? Why didn't you raise the money for your own mother's medical bill? You are blaming somebody else for your own failure. That is not right. Now you will be the one to pay for everything that you have done. Emeka went to meet with Cheta to ask Cheta about the business, because for long Cheta has not mentioned anything concerning that business. He doesn't know anything. And Cheta asked Jonathan, are you serious right now? What business are you talking about? What business? I have been feeding you and your family, and now you are asking me about money. Do you have money? Do you have money? And Jonathan is surprised. Like, where is all this coming from? I gave you the document to this house for you to, use it as a collateral to get a loan. I also gave you the document to my land. You sold the land. The money is in your possession. So, what is happening to the money? And Cheta told Jonathan, you better mind yourself, all right? And don't ask me anything about house or anything concerning money, because you don't know anything. And Jonathan was so angry when Cheta wanted to walk out on him. He dragged Cheta close, and Cheta used the knife and pointed the knife at Jonathan and told him, don't you ever try this rubbish again with me. If not, I am going to show you that I am truly Cheta. You don't have to mess with me. At this point, Jonathan is scared for himself. He's scared for his life. What have I gotten myself into? Yes, that is what happens to somebody who claims that he knows it all. Kenneth told Jonathan about this woman. As long as this woman is friends with Emeka, she is a bad luck. But Jonathan wouldn't listen to Kenneth. And now look at what is happening to you. Young man, what I can say to you right now is that this is just nothing but the beginning. These two evil people, once they meet together to make plans, it's always successful. I wonder how they are always able to achieve this aim. Emeka and Debbie met to discuss on how they are going to catch Cheta should in case Cheta decide to run away with their money, as if the house or property belongs to them. While Cheta was, making her plans in trying to run away from Jonathan with his entire money, Cheta came downstairs, and Jonathan, having discovered that Cheta is now beginning to act strange, came downstairs to meet up with Cheta and eventually saw Cheta's phone ringing. Guess who was calling? Debbie. Now, Jonathan is so surprised. What is the connection between Debbie and Cheta? Have these people been friends? And Jonathan was tempted to take the call. When he picked the call, Debbie was now threatening Cheta that we have been here waiting for you. Don't you think that you can run away with our money? Because we trusted you. Now you are trying to play us. You should be ready for what is coming for you. Jonathan is now surprised that the Emeka that he knows, including the Debbie that claims to be the ex-wife's best friend, were together conniving to destroy his entire family. Jonathan was shocked. Yes, this is what is going to happen. In fact, you are just seeing a tip of an iceberg because a lot is about to happen or to unveil itself. Surprisingly, Cheta packed her bags and was about to run away from Jonathan's house. Cheta, this thing that you are about to do right now is so bad. Even if you want to do this to Jonathan, don't you think that you are doing the most right now? But while Cheta was about to run away, she didn't know that Emeka and Debbie were already tracking her. They came in. Cheta was so surprised to see Emeka and Debbie. Debbie pulled out her gun and shot Cheta immediately. The question I'm asking Debbie right now is, why would you shoot somebody when you have not even collected the money from her? The money was the most important thing, not even killing Cheta. You would have taken Cheta to a hidden place and forced her to bring out the money instead of taking this action. But then, Jonathan, having discovered that Emeka and Debbie were behind his misfortune, Jonathan decided to call his friend Ken, and they eventually brought the police to arrest Jonathan and Debbie. Now they are very shocked. How is Jonathan able to pull this? Maybe they did not watch their back at this point because they never expected Jonathan to take this route. They were surprised and could not say anything. Jonathan was like, Emeka, you dare do this to me? After everything, like we have been friends for as long as I remember. Now you decide to do this to me. And you, Debbie, you claim to be my wife's best friend. And you connive with Emeka to do this to me? What have I done? Immediately the police took them because they deserve this. Now, Jonathan decided to speak with Emeka, to ask Emeka why he decided to do this evil thing to him. And this thing that Emeka is saying right now is so annoying to me because Emeka was telling Jonathan that, Jonathan, I asked you for money for me to buy medications for my mother. You refused to give me the money. Stop crying, because when my mother eventually died, you gave me 3 million naira to support me for my mother's burial. But when I asked you for the money to buy her medications, you refused to give me. In fact, the day my mother died was the day I made a vow that I'm going to bring you down. I'm going to rubbish your life until you return back to zero for doing this to me. And Emeka was so shocked. Jonathan was so shocked. In fact, he was really, really crying so hard. I feel pity for him. And he told Emeka to his face, I don't owe you anything. I am not your blood. I am not your mother's son. All right? If I refuse to give you my money, that does not warrant you to do this to me. I am only but your friend. I do not owe you anything. I don't owe you anything. Because I did not give you money to pay your mother medical bills, you decide to do this to me. And Emeka said, yes, I did it. And I'm very, very happy and proud that right now you are on the street. You are going to roam around the street. Even though I rot here in jail, I am happy that you will not have roof over your head. You can imagine how wicked people's hearts can be. We should be very, very careful with the kind of people that we call our friends, because They might be stabbing us behind. We should be very, very vigilant and let our eyes be open. Jonathan went home. He was already crying because what is he going to tell the daughter? That the house that your mother secured for you, because of me, you are going to lose the house. You know, and while they were eventually sitting outside thinking of what to do with their life, you know, the owner of the house came with the lawyer to tell them that the 6 months that Cheta pleaded has elapsed. It's about time that they move out so that the real owner of the house can enter the house. And Jonathan was now so surprised. Which house are you talking about? This house belongs to me. I live here. This is my house. But the man said that the house and everything pertaining to this house is in his possession. Of course, Jonathan took that house document from the daughter. What were you expecting? Now you have to leave the house. And they gave him 24 hours to pack his things and get out of that house. Jonathan is in serious trouble. Right now, Kenneth is not even in town. What is Jonathan going to do? How is he going to resolve this issue? Jonathan kept on begging and begging that he's not going to leave this house. But of course, the owner of the house said 24 hours. You don't have money to take this matter to court, or rather to call the police. Right now, you have to leave the house. Jonathan went inside and was crying. Even the daughter felt for the dad, because she knew that the father always mean well for her. It's just that things are not working for Jonathan. Then, backed up with the greed that Jonathan has, that is one of the things that is affecting the Big Joe. And Jonathan asked the daughter, what are we going to do right now? What do you suggest? I can see that the Big Joe is now asking questions of, seeking for some other person's advice. The same person that thinks that he knows it all is now seeking for the daughter's advice. When this is what poverty can do. Poverty can actually humble you. This Big Joe has been humbled. And they eventually, came to conclusion that they were going to leave the house regardless. Even when the daughter suggested that they will sell their properties to get a little apartment. Remember that the man that bought this house, bought including the interiors, everything inside this house has been bought, including the one that is in Jonathan's name. So he had no other option but to pack his things, including the daughter. When the man came, they threw them out with their belongings, only their clothes. Jonathan has lost everything that he has worked so hard for. He went on the street and was like, what am I going to do? Where do we go from here? Jonathan was confused. He was even running mad. This is the exact same thing that Emeka was praying for. He made a vow to himself that I'm going to make Jonathan run mad on the street. I want him to run about the street homeless. This is the exact same thing that has happened to Jonathan. Jonathan was confused, and they eventually went into an uncompleted building to spend the night. And then look at what Jonathan is eating with the daughter. Mineral and bread is what Jonathan is now feeding on. This is the last car that Jonathan has. At this point, I see a man that is full with so much regret and frustration. The daughter tried to console the dad, but she can't even do much because Jonathan has failed as a man, and he's actually in his feelings right now because he did not watch to see how he would have prevented this from happening. Jonathan could not sleep. Even when the daughter was sleeping, he was crying. Look at where my daughter is sleeping right now. I have failed my daughter. Benny, I am sorry. I am so sorry for bringing you to this kind of place, for failing you as a father. Jonathan woke up early in the morning to go look for food for the daughter. This is what Jonathan is always doing. He has never failed in trying to achieve this for the daughter. Regardless of how bad Jonathan can be, he's always trying to fend for the daughter. Jonathan went on the street. He sat down to think about his life for a while. What should I do? What step do I take from here? God, please help me. You are the only one that can help me in this situation right now. Please do not abandon me. This is exactly what happens. When people are comfortable, when they have money and they have everything under their control, they feel like there is no God. But once all those things are being taken away from them, they remember God. You can imagine Big Joe calling on God to help. When Benny woke up, she was surprised. My dad is nowhere to be found. Where has he gone to? Daddy, where are you? Benny was so scared that the father had abandoned her. not knowing that the father went out to get food for the both of them to eat. The father brought the food, and you can see how they were all eating. They were both eating this food so fast. And Jonathan was like, baby, I hope you like it. I'm going to do more to make sure that I take you back to where you belong, because I need to take care of you as my daughter. I feel so sorry for Benny. After your mother has worked so hard to secure your future, your father helped you to destroy the future. That is so bad. I wonder how Clara is going to feel when she will hear that all that she has worked for has been taken away from this girl. It will be so much of a disappointment. Jonathan is doing everything possible to feed the daughter. He's now hustling, doing menial jobs just to get food for the both of them to eat. Clara went to school, Jonathan went to work, and even though they are still poor, I see that there is still love flowing in between, and there is nothing that Benny is going to do right now. At this point, there is nothing that Benny is going to do. Jonathan is the father, and there's nothing that she can possibly do. She cannot run to anybody, especially now that Kenneth is not even around. That Jonathan would have said, okay, Kenneth, please help me with my daughter. Let my daughter stay in your house while I hustle on the street. But Kenneth left town. He's not around. But the worst is about to happen. Now that Jonathan is sick, what is Benny going to do? She does not have money. She does not have anyone to call. The one person that she knows is not in town. What is she going to do? Jonathan, please don't do this to this girl. Do not send this girl to become a street girl. You better wake up. Don't get sick. Because Jonathan is already shaking and Ben is crying. Daddy, please don't do this to me. Jonathan, you better wake up. But we'll get to find out about this. If Clara will eventually get an information of what is happening and come back to rescue her family, we'll get to find out about this on the next episode. Please like the video if you have not liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will bring the next episode as soon as you drop. But for now,